Episode 2. Skips is probably one of the more laid-back characters in the regular show. However, on this episode, he lost all his nonchalant points. Over the top. The episode starts with the Mundum in a hospital and Rigby's literally in his deathbed. Mordecai looks at Skips and he says, "I hope you got what you wanted," signifying that it's his fault that he died. I'm sure everyone watching that episode for the first time was confused because how could Skips be the reason that Rigby dies out of nowhere? We then get taken back into a flashback where everybody's chilling in a restaurant and out of nowhere Benson's just glazing Skips. He's talking about how Skips is the strongest dude and nobody could see him in an arm wrestling competition. Skips was trying to be the nonchalant creature he is and be humble, and he said, "Nah, I ain't trying to arm wrestle you and all that." But Benson quite literally forces him to arm wrestle him, and he starts arm wrestling each and every single one of them, and of course destroying them. He took everybody down, and once it got to Rigby's turn, everybody was laughing at Rigby because they were anticipating that he was going to get destroyed, which of course anybody would anticipate that because Rigby is a string being and he's tiny, and who thinks Rigby's going to destroy Skips in an arm wrestling competition? Exactly. Boom, they get to arm wrestling and Rigby absolutely fucks it. Everybody was laughing about it, but you can tell Skip's heart sank to his ass out of embarrassment. Skips asked for a rematch because he says he wasn't ready. Rigby ass started rage baiting Skips, talking about he's getting weak in his old age. You can tell this just got to his soul. Skips wasn't going for this shit, bro. Now, they rematch, and you can tell Skips put every ounce of his soul into it, and he still lost. Everybody was shocked, and they started cheering Rigby on, and Skips is looking at his hand in absolute confusion at the fact that he lost to Rigby 2 times in a row. They all started walking out the restaurant with Rigby like he's the new main Mundum in town, and Skips is over there by his lonely in the chairs thinking to himself how he could have lost to Rigby. No matter how nonchalant you claim to be, losing to your homeboy that you know you're better than is one of the worst feelings. They start talking crazy, acting like they're better than you when they know themselves they aren't. This is the basic arts of rage bait. The next day at work, Pops was chopping it up with Skips about how he went crazy in arm wrestling last night. He wasn't satisfied, of course, since he literally lost to Rigby. Then he started doubting himself, talking about how he isn't the strongest no more. But Pops was trying to cheer him up, and he was telling him that he's literally the strongest person he knows. In a way to cheer him up, he then tells Skips to go get your rematch and get that shit back in blood. So Skip walks in on them, they playing the game. He demands his rematch, and Rigby says no, and that he's too busy to give him a rematch because he's on the game. This is like when you're playing your homeboy in a fighting game and you beat them once and never give them the rematch because you know they're gonna win. In an instant, the rage bait works and consumes Skips, and he smashes their video game against the wall, and they go to Benson to go snitch. Now Skips already knew that they were gonna snitch after they destroyed their video game, which is fair. In the meantime, while Benson was on the way there, he was exercising, lifting weights for the rematch that was to come. They end up getting the rematch, and Rigby absolutely spits on Skips once again. Now, at this point, Skip's self-confidence was absolutely shattered, because how could he have lost to Rigby once again? Rigby just enjoying the whole thing because he finna get paid for the video game that he broke, and he's just talking crazy. It cuts to a new scene where it looks like the dudes are about to hang out again, and Mordecai forgot his ticket, so he went back to his room to go find them. After the last rematch, Skips knew something was up and that Rigby had to have been cheating to be slamming him in arm wrestling like that. So he went into his room searching all through his stuff. I'm talking about searching through everything. Basketball on the floor, pizza on the floor, trash on the floor, panties flying, everything. He was dedicated. He made it his mission to find out what Rigby did. Mordecai walked in on him and felt bad that Skips was this down bad about him losing. Like, look at this frame right here, bro. This is the most down bad that you will ever see Skips looking in regular show. It's hard to watch, honestly. You can just see the uncontrollable desperation in his face to find out what the hell happened. Mordecai admitted that Rigby's been pranking Skips the whole time and told him to look up Playco Armboy. This is basically the tool that he used to piss on Skips multiple times. When Skips found out about how Rigby was getting handicap wins the whole time, something changed inside him. It was like a fuel had ignited inside him. He saw red. He started working out. He was lifting up his truck. He was breaking punching bags. He was on a mission to restore his dignity. With all that being said, he headed to the restaurant that the boys were at. He pulled up to the store and it was on site with Rigby. He declared an arm wrestling match. Intense music started playing, and with this, the match commenced. The first thing Skips did was rip out the Playco armboard that Rigby had on his arm. Everybody was in awe, and Rigby knew that his time had come the way he looked up at Skips in fear. Skips had a vein popping on his forehead, and with this, he absolutely battered Rigby into shambles. With one hit, he instantly took Rigby's life. He slammed him through a table instead of the regular schmegler old slam the arm into the table. He broke him into the table, slamming everything everywhere. It was intense. It then takes us back to the scene from the beginning of the episode when the Mundum were in the hospital. Death showed up to take Rigby to the afterlife, and Skips demanded an arm wrestling match against Death for Rigby's life. This shows that Skips really cared because he offered his life in exchange if he lost. Before their match started, Death took off his jacket and showed off the arm he had been spanking his meat with since 1,000 years back. Now Skips knew that this shit wasn't going to be easy, but he had to give it his all. Now they had a whole arm wrestling match that was breaking the scales of the reality itself. And at the end of it, Skips yelled that 2 words, Playco armboy, then finished off the match, saving Rigby's life. At the end of the day, he saved Rigby's life with what got him killed. For doing this, I would say Skips can get all his Zora points.